Alrighty guys, what's going on? Linky here, and today I wanted to reflect a little bit on 2024 and look ahead to 2025 and what we can expect both from this channel and from Pokemon in the new year. So get subscribed, hit that notification bell, turn notifications on for everything if you don't want to miss any future content. Let's jump right into things. So 2024 was a pretty quiet year for Pokemon in terms of official stuff. No new games. Side games and mobile apps came out. The new TCG game for iOS came out, but there were no mainline Pokemon games this year, even though at the start of the year we had Pokemon Legends ZA announced, a brand new Pokemon Legends game announced back in February. And everyone kind of expected, okay, we'll probably see something of the game at some point this year. Maybe we don't actually get the game, but we'll probably get a trailer, we'll probably get brand new information. And as it turns out, we actually got none of that. They skipped a year. And there have been sections of the Pokemon community asking them to skip a year and kind of take more time to develop their games for a few years now, ever since especially the Switch generation with the perceived lower quality of games. And for many, it seems like Game Freak took that advice and we are getting a longer development time. I'm a little skeptical as to the truth behind that statement. It feels to me that there's a much stronger chance that if there wasn't a Switch 2 coming very soon, we may have already seen Legends ZA, but because it's probably going to be part of Switch 2's first year, even if it's cross-compatible with the original Switch to keep that install base, I think that could have something to do with it. So we'll see how the game eventually looks. I would expect that as we get into 2025, not too far into the year, we're going to start getting trailers, we're going to get a release date, and Legends ZA is going to become much more of a known quantity. Outside of the official stuff, it was a pretty insane year for Pokemon. I haven't covered it here. There hasn't been a ton of news to talk about on the channel. And I kind of like to avoid covering objectively just, ripped content that was, acquired by means that are not, the most pleasing. And to kind of, I'm kind of just talking around the issue, but there was a major leak of Game Freak internal files. Massive leak of concept art, game titles, development logs, files, internal memos and notes on various Pokemon games going back far into Pokemon's past. And we even got some information about the future of Pokemon, information about Legends ZA, about what the next generation is going to be. It was a major talking point this year, and that information is out there. And there are colleagues, people I know on YouTube who have covered the subject, and that's fine. I have no problem with that. I may even dabble and cover some of it moving forward on the channel, but I'm sure all of you are aware of some of the content, and it does shed some light on the upcoming plans for Pokemon, Game Freak's upcoming plans for the franchise heading into a new console generation. So, it's out there. We're going to be seeing a lot of that on the internet moving forward, and it's going to impact the hype cycle for Legends ZA and what comes after Legends ZA. It's this weird place. It's almost like when you're watching a movie and you know what's going to happen because you're the viewer, but the character in the movie doesn't know, and it's eating at you because you know what's coming, even though you're watching a character not know. That's kind of what trailers and new information is going to be like for Legends ZA and the future after that, because we kind of already know what's not being said. It's going to be really interesting, and I'm going to be curious to see how the Pokemon community reacts as we learn new information, and it seems like certain things are being hidden from us that we already kind of are aware of. So we're going to find out a lot when Pokemon Day rolls around in February. Do I think there's a chance we see it sooner? I do. I would expect the Switch 2 to get announced very quickly into 2025. If we get to Pokemon Day in February and the Switch 2 hasn't been announced, something is going wrong, in my opinion. I think we're going to very quickly see Nintendo's next console. And considering what we're dealing with Pokemon and the new hardware, I think there's every chance that we see Pokemon Legends ZA in some form, or Pokemon in some form, at the Switch 2 launch event. And I think when we get to Pokemon Day, the month after, if it does happen in January, there's every chance we get a big blowout of the game. Maybe it's a teaser in the Switch 2. I know that I'm going to get comments, and people on Twitter say this all the time, that Pokemon doesn't reveal information at official Nintendo events. And while the pattern is they don't generally, they have in the past. There have been E3s where they've shown off games. There have been E3s where they've had the developers on stage. These things have happened. It's my every expectation that there's a chance we're going to see Pokemon in the next 2 months. We're going to see Legends ZA. We're finally going to get to kind of look at the game, see how it looks, how it performs, compare it both to Scarlet and Violet and its open world, and compare it to the art style and open air environment of Legends Arceus. So all of this is coming. It's only a matter of time. The only question I have about Pokemon's 2025 is how it's structured. We know we're moving towards a new generation within the next 2 years. We know Legends ZA is coming. How those two things intersect, how they work with the new console. Is it backwards compatible? Are we getting a Switch version of Legends ZA and then bringing fully to the new console with the next generation? Who's to say? How does it look and how does it perform in comparison to Scarlet and Violet? Which, for as divisive as the internet sometimes likes to claim Scarlet and Violet are, there's a great game there. There's a great gameplay loop once you get past Mesagoza City in Scarlet and Violet that keeps you locked in. It's an incredibly well-selling game. They have milked the game a ton over the last year with raid events and different expansions within the DLC. They have really, used it up. And I think it's been successful. I think it's been I think Scarlet and Violet honestly has been Pokemon's most successful generation since X and Y. So getting Legends ZA now is very fitting. But we're going to see what their plans are after that. When the launch of ZA happens, which I'm not entirely sure, I have to think about this a little bit more. It's going to be one of my first videos in the new year discussing when the game is actually going to come out. But I've kind of gone back and forth of when I think ZA is going to launch. Some people think earlier, some people think fall. We'll see. If it's fall, then you have to give credit to Game Freak for really sitting on their hands and putting time into this game. But if it's earlier, if it's a launch title for the Switch 2, something to that effect, then we could see the next generation swiftly announced as well. We will see. Spin-off games as well, entirely possible in Switch 2's first year. So Switch 2 is going to be integral to what Pokemon does next year as well. As for me, well, it's been pretty light on content this year. There's been a lot of, personal outside of YouTube reasons for that. Nothing bad. It's just been a productive year for me, and there has been no Pokemon news. I love news. I love new information. I love the hype cycle. That is what I've built this channel off of in recent years. So not having that has kind of been difficult, but I'm hoping to get back on the horse and cover ZA as it comes out and cover the future of Pokemon and discuss it with you guys. So I'm glad to be making this, kind of wrapping up 2024, get a little momentum heading into 2025. And I want to know what you guys think. What have your opinions been about this drought of Pokemon content? Do you think it's been a good thing, or do you not really care and you just want to play your Pokemon games? Which I completely understand. It is always nice to get to November and December at the end of the year and have a brand new game to play on your Switch. If I go and pull up my playtime on Nintendo's website for the Switch, I'm sure it's mostly dominated by Pokemon stuff. And Zelda stuff. So, not having that this year has kind of stunk, but we're heading into a new year. We're heading into a year where we're virtually guaranteed to get new Pokemon content, and it's going to be a ton. So get excited. Let me know what you guys have thought about the drought in the comments section below. What are your expectations heading into 2025? And if you're not subscribed to the channel, there's content coming, I promise. You can hit that subscribe button. I would suggest following me on other social media, but social media in 2024 has taken an interesting turn of events. So, if you want, I'm on Twitter at LinkyYT. You can follow me there. And we're just going to keep this rolling here. So if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more like it in the future, hit that subscribe button, turn that notification bell on so you never miss any future content. Hope you all have a happy new year, and we will see you soon. I've been Linky. See you all in the next video. Peace out.